Hey guys, how's it going? Black Magic here. I know it's been a minute since I posted anything anywhere, but 2K dropped their Courtside report, so I thought, let me read it so you don't have to. Here's what's in it. Every year with 2K, we go back and forth whether or not the slashers are the dominant force or if it's the shooters. Last year, with 2K22, the shooters reign supreme, of course. This year is all about the slashers, baby. This year, 2K is putting a lot of emphasis on the double throws, which is essentially flicking the stick twice, and switchbacks, which is flicking the stick one direction and flicking it back. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna be using that a lot. This year, 2K is bringing back the dunk meter again. At the beginning of the year, nobody liked it. It grew on us closest to the end. I'm glad to see it back. Additionally, this year, 2K has given us the ability to do more things with the stick. They've given us these extra controls here, and essentially it goes like this. We have up for two hand, right for strong hand, which is your dominant hand, I'm assuming, left for your weak hand, down for rim hang, up for flashy two hand, down up for flashy one hand, up down for a normal skill dunk with the meter, and down for a skill dunk with the hang, or rim hang with the skill dunk. For me, this makes me very happy to hear. As a career slasher, which means I'm making slasher every year, I've always have, always will. I love going to the basket. I'm always been an advocate that you're not a slasher if you dunk with the X button. You don't call yourself a slasher if you use an X to dunk. You're not about that life. Only stick dunks out here. So the fact that we have more control now, more options essentially, I'm a big fan of that. And it's something that doesn't necessarily change the skill gap, but we'll get more into that in a little bit about how that affects everything. Personally, something that makes me very happy to hear is that they added a physics-based simulated ring hang system. Now what that means is you can control when you hang on the rim and how long you hang on the rim for. So if you want to catch a tech for hanging on the rim for too long, by all means do you. I'm 100% going to be doing that to flex on people during the games because I like to flex. And you can control this by how long you hold the sprint button after you dunk. So when your player gets contact with the rim, the amount of time you hold the RT, that's how long you'll hang on the rim for. And with the left stick, you control where your body goes while you're hanging. So I'm waiting to see if this is implemented properly. If so, this is a W. It doesn't change the skill of the game, but it adds more immersion to it. Giving the player more control is always a good thing when it comes to a game like 2K, which is basically player controlled with a little 2K influence, you know, the little BS. Sadly, this is a feature that's only going to be for next gen. So if you don't have it, you won't be getting access to this. But get on that grind, do what you gotta do, get that Xbox, get that PlayStation, come join us on the next gen service. Another thing that 2K added was a level of finesse. They've given you more ability on which way to do your cradles and your layups. Since they added the double throw and the switchback system, it works intuitively in my opinion. So for a hop step layup / dunk, you would double throw, which is flicking it twice in the same direction, and for a Euro step or cradle, you would do a switchback, which is left and then right or right and then left. And that works because natural motion, when you do a Euro, you go left and right or right and left. I like that. I'm a big fan of that. And then on top of that, if you hold the stick to the left or the right, we'll perform an all new set of quick scoop layups, which is more ideal for the smaller defenders to help them get around big blockers in the paint area. These same features give new animations and new contact layups for the bigger players. So when you're Giannis and you hit somebody in the paint, you won't start hitting people in the paint now and just laying it up. It don't always gotta be a dunk nowadays. I'm a big fan of that. Now for the post players, double throws can be used for post drop shots and hop shots, and the switchback gestures will give you a shimmy shot and hook shot. Another thing 2K has really emphasized that they added this year was a plethora of new animations for everybody. And I'm hyped. In terms of the animations, they've added a lot of new layup packages for new gen and current gen, including Devin Booker, Joel Embiid, Allen Iverson, Magic Johnson, Jokic, Levine, Morant, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, and so many more. Now for the dribbling aspect of things. Now with the switchback and double throw gestures, 2K says this gives players a lot more options when it comes to what their player does and the control you have over your dribble animations. This gives us a lot more control over what moves we do and how we do them. For example, with the switchback, you can now perform a dedicated signature double cross or hezi move. and you can apply that to your move and crossover signature package, which has grown from 15 animations to 28, which is a big increase when it comes to 2K, because usually they add like 1 or 2, or they remove some for whatever reason. Now, something that they added is that knowing the speed and timing of these animations is very important, which it always is, but I'm guessing they're adding a little more emphasis onto that this year. So we'll find out when the game comes out how important it actually is. 2K likes a lot. Now 2K says you can change your player's normal signature size-ups by rocking the pro stick back and forth rhythmically. Rapid double throws will give you the aforementioned new combos, and flicking the pro stick back and forth repeatedly will give you a whole different set of animations called signature combos that look incredible, according to 2K. Like, take everything you hear here with a grain of salt, but this is very exciting news. I'm not a dribbler, but as a big man, as a mobile big, I have to help a lot when I'm playing with randoms or I'm playing with friends. I have to help a lot with the guard because bigs are ass. I guard, let me not get into it. Bigs are ass, that's all I'm gonna say. But usually that requires me to learn all the drill moves and how to guard them and things like that. So I can't wait to see how explosive and how incredible these moves actually look, and see if they could trip me up on defense. Now, something else that they added is something called attacking size-ups. 2K says that the new attacking size-up provide more side-to-side movement, which defensively can make it more difficult for you to guard, but also offensively can make it easier for you to get by your defender. Now, depending on what the limitations may be for these animations, hopefully as a big, I'll be able to use these animations to some degree. Because I tend to make a big that has a ball handle that's in the middle range when it comes to ball handling options. So we'll see how it goes. Now, something 2K likes to say in these Courtside reports, I've heard this for at least like 3 2Ks now, is that dribbling too much will deplete your stamina bar faster. So they're trying to stop spamming those dribble guys who dribble the whole shot clock out, and maybe they make it, maybe they don't. They've said this in previous 2Ks to no avail. So I'll take this with a grain of salt, like the rest of y'all. Hopefully it's the truth, because I hate playing with randoms and they be like, sit corner, hold your nuts, set me screens. Like, I'm not doing it. That's not basketball. I mean, it is basketball. Something I'm very excited for, and I pray and I hope that 2K implemented this properly, is instead of a stamina system, we have a adrenaline system. Now, per player, per possession, you get 3 adrenaline boosts, which are 3 bars that will appear under your player. I'm guessing you still get the stamina bar, but you get an adrenaline boost underneath that. So you have 2 bars in your feet now. And each one of these boosts are consumed every time you perform a hard go or explosive sprint launch, which basically means anytime you run and you hold RT, you're going to use one of your boosts. So this is to curb people from holding RT the whole game, which I do a lot of because there's no penalty. So it's like, why not? Once these boosts are gone, you'll notice a significant decrease in your acceleration and your speed for the remainder of the possession. The good thing is that after the possession, these come back immediately. You get these right back after each possession. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Just know that during that possession of the ball, stop holding RT the whole time. Relax. The ball will come your way. Just chill. But after the possession's over, you'll get your stamina back completely. I'm guessing it'll go back to full. Because currently in 2K, the way it is you get half your stamina, or like, I think it's 3/4 or something like that. You get like a percentage of it back. You don't get the full thing back the next percentage. The next possession, you don't get the full thing back. I've always been a big fan of 2K talking about rationing stamina, because I feel like forcing that into the game makes it so that you have to play smarter. You can't just hold RT, you can't just dribble the whole time, you can't just run on the court in circles. I'm not a fan of that, but I am a fan of having to play smart basketball at all times. Now, something that makes me super duper happy, they've added a more authentic shooter experience to 2K this year. That means that each shot, each animation you have has stats within the shot itself. It's not just random, it's not just aesthetic. Essentially, each shot has a shot speed, a release height, a defense immunity, and a timing impact. What that means going forward is with your shot speed determines how quickly the shot gets to its ideal release point, which is the green window. The release height is how high the shot is released. Like for example, Iggy has a rainbow shot. I love it. That's my pops. Shout out to Iggy. Defensive immunity is how effective the shot is against defensive tests. So something like what's that man's name? Something like Russell's shot base, which has a high release point. I'm guessing it'll have a high defensive immunity because you jump high as hell. Unless the defender jumps, they're not guarding it. And timing impact, which adjusts the shot window to reward good timing at the cost of an increased penalty for bad timing. So if you a shooter, this year is the year to really show. You want to separate who can make a good jump shot, who can shoot properly, opposed to who can't. Hopefully this year it allows people who have lower shot ratings but know the timing and know the mechanics of the jump shot and know when to properly shoot, when not to shoot. It gives them an advantage over other players who just have a 99.3 and don't know shit about their player. And this year they saying they're adding double the amount of shot animations, which is double of any 2K ever. And for me, I'm praying and I'm hoping that I get Monte Ellis' jump shot back in the game because I love that man's jumper. I want John Wall's jumper. As a big, I probably won't be able to touch those, but with conversations with my homies and stuff like that, this might be the year I go to small forward. We'll have to find out. On top of that, this year 2K added 5 new shot meters with 15 more that can be unlocked through seasons over the coming year, which means we get previous shot meters back and sadly we get the seasons back, which I know nobody really enjoyed. Now this time when it comes to stick shooting, they've added a little more information and detail to what shows up on it. Before, when you used to just say high, flat, or ideal, now it says high arc, flat arc, and ideal arc, which basically means where in the arc you release your shot, which should give people a little more idea on like when the proper release point is for the jumper. This year, another thing they added, which I'm a big fan of again because it doesn't change anything mechanically of the game, it just changes the physical aspect of it, is now your green shot, when you hit a green, it doesn't show up when you release your shot. It shows up when the shot hits the basket. So you don't know if your shot is green or not until it goes in. So you don't do your animation, you don't do nothing. As a big, I like this, but I don't, because then I don't know if I have to jump or not. But I jump on everything whether it's green or not, as you should. I'm watching y'all. I'm talking about y'all bigs that don't jump until like it hits the rim. But that's a good change. And something that they took out for next gen, which I thought was weird because it was a good addition, was the ability to hold Y to lead the receiver to the basket. So when you're playing with bots online or somebody lags out during the game, the only option you have is to hold B, which makes them come to you. Hold Y used to make it so that I was either hold Y or hold A. You could hold that button and make them cut. They've added that back to the game. Apparently that was still in the game for current gen, but now in new gen we get that back again. A new thing they've added now, when you hold B with the bots, instead of them coming to you immediately, now if you hold B, the receiver you're pointing to with the left stick will perform a quick V or flare cut to get open on the perimeter, which means you're setting people up to shoot threes. So only point that stick towards people you know can shoot, which is something that's very useful because it helps out in the long run when you don't have time to set a play and you just need somebody to get open for the shot. You pick who you want, they'll try to get open, you hit them with the pass, you better hope they make it. Now this year 2K also added the ability to equip the signature passing style, which is something I did not expect for 2K to do, or like it was never even on my radar. I never even thought about that. And they added some animations including Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, Jason Williams, LeBron James, and more, which are some of the elite passers in the league, past and present. So I'm happy to see that addition, because once again, it doesn't change the gameplay, it's just aesthetic and it adds to the immersion. So you can be more like your favorite player. Like my friend Mike, he loves LeBron. He makes his player look as closely to LeBron as he can every year. He oozes LeBron from his very soul. So having LeBron's passing package will definitely make him a happy man. Now let's get into the new defensive changes and additions that 2K has added this year. In previous 2Ks, their shot contest system has always been bad. And now that I take game dev classes, I know what the reason is for that. And that's because they calculate the shot contest at the point of where the defender's hand is at and where they're at the end of the shot, so at the release point. What 2K has added this year is now when you contest a shot, they have a window basically from the point the X button is pressed, from the point the offensive player takes a shot to the point where the shot is released. That whole window is calculated on whether or not the shot was contested or not, which is a likely easy solution that they could have come up with a long time ago. So I'm really upset at that, but I'm happy that this is a good chance, because as a defender, nothing's more frustrating than properly contesting a shot and having to stay open. That shit hurts like crazy. Now 2K has added a new system for on-ball defense, which is called the defensive shading mechanic. Now I'm guessing it's similar to the acceleration bar, but on defense. You get 3 bars underneath your feet that indicate 3 zones: straight up, shade left, and shade right. The zone the defender is in is shown in red. If the ball handler attempts to attack a red lane, they'll get cut off, lose their dribble, or fumble the ball. This is something that's similar to the mechanic that is currently in, what is it, NBA Live 16? Great game, by the way. They really need to come out with a new one. But it's a similar system that's in NBA Live that has been in NBA Live, and I'm glad to see that in 2K. It's a good option. And this system works well on all ball defense as well as defending in the post, which is something I have to do a lot of because a lot of people like to play in the post, and it's annoying to play against. Now, something 2K has worked on this year, or they say they worked on this year, was shot blocking. Shot blocking has been tuned to a more realistic level this year, leading to more predictable outcomes with the right players making the appropriate stops when timing their blocks attempts well, which means that no more chase down blocks from your friend's 6'3" guard just swatting that joint like he's LeBron off the backboard. Like, it's a cool thing to see, and it adds to the lack of realism that 2K has, but I feel like 2K is trying to go more towards realism, but in a fun way. And this year feels like a good way that they're doing it. I don't have any complaints about any of the things they've added so far, and I'm very happy. So the fact that little guards the fact that guards aren't going to be blocking me off the backboard like they're LeBron makes me very happy. The new shot blocking system also comes with a new flyby block system, which is something to block shots on the perimeter. Basically, like when Ginobili blocked James Harden, flyby blocks on the perimeter. I like those a lot. I'm more of a fan of like the straight up blocks that you do on the little guards when they think they got the shot, and you just love those. But good addition. Now, in terms of steals and ball strips, they're now new and improved this year with tons of new content and better coverage. Alright, so if you're a small defender, quick hands can be just as effective in slowing down slashers and bigs in the paint as a good shot blocker. And they've also added a failed strip contact layup to make sure defenders' still inputs are respected instead of getting ignored. Basically meaning that if you swipe and you fail, there's a bigger penalty. Before, it would just either give you that animation or just ignore it completely, and you just swipe and just immediately get back in defense. So now, press X properly. Like on some you read, you teach type stuff. And they've also added more sideline awareness. So when the ball does get knocked loose by a block or still, you'll see greatly improved sideline awareness during the scramble plays. So more pickups near the out of bound lines are much more reliable, and diving for the ball saves that throw the ball back in play are much more effective. Now, for the part that everybody truly cares about, the badges, builds, and takeover section of this article. Let's get into it. Now, one of the new things that I know everybody's talking about and everybody's talking about is that animations, instead of being based on your player, like let's say I buy this animation from my player, I buy this animation from my player, Animations are now account bound rather than saved to one specific style. In other words, if you purchase an animation for your Playshop build, it will then be available to equip on your slasher build, assuming that their slasher also meets the same requirements. So if I make a pure slasher build and I have like a 99 dunk on that build, I can get all those animations, I could buy all those animations, and they're available on my shooting build. But if my shooting build doesn't meet the stat requirements, then I can't equip them, but they're still there, so I still have those options. Which basically means, and like I know I'm smiling, I'm super hyped. If you make a new build from scratch and you don't have the VC, and you decide to buy some VC, you don't have to then also spend money on buying animations again. Because to get a character from a 60 overall all the way up to 85 is 200 something VC, 200 plus VC. And then on top of that, you have to add the additional 60 to 70,000 VC that you have to spend on animations. It makes the whole process very expensive for no reason. I'm super happy about this. And then on top of that, another great addition is for the people that play current gen. Wherever you are, stop, get next gen. But something for you guys to be happy about. There's no more pie charts. You now all get to use the same system that we use on next gen, which is the new My Player Builder system. So be happy about that. Now, this system can be good, but it could also be bad. They've added a new badge system for, I'm guessing this is just for next gen. Current gen has our old system, I'm assuming. So it says here, this year we're moving to a tiered badge system. There are 16 badges per attribute category, 8 in tier 1, 4 in tier 2, 4 in tier 3. Tier 1 badges are the least powerful for your player, but also cost the least amount of badge points. Costs go up as you climb the tiers and acquire the more impactful badges. The basic idea is that you'll need to equip a certain number of badges in the lower tiers before you can equip the badge in the highest. Now, the reason behind this makes sense because an issue that 2K suffers from is that everybody uses the same group of badges. By having this system, it adds a bit more variety and you'll see people with different things on. I think I've probably seen maybe 3 bigs, probably more, but I've only noticed 3 bigs who actually use the Dream Shake badge. And it's a good badge, but you don't see people use it because it doesn't make sense. It's the same reason why you don't see people you have a rare option where you see people using a post hook badge, because like post hooks aren't the most effective way to score in the post. So you don't really see that badge, and people usually use drop stepper or back down punisher or stuff like that. I'm a big fan of this because it brings more balance to the badge system. Another addition that they're adding to the badge system is core badges, which are 4 unique badge slots, 1 in each attribute category that can be filled with badges that don't count towards your badge points, which is a good thing, but it also goes back because everybody's just going to be using the same 4 core badges, depending on if there are any badges or if they're only specific badges. Each badge will have a challenge requirement that, once met, will allow the badge to be placed in the core badge slot. Actually, we also made several changes to the badges themselves, which are highlighted below. Never mind, I'm happy. And these are the badges. For finishing, we have Slithery, Masher, Aerial Wizard, and Bully. Now, Slithery makes it easier to gather through traffic, avoiding collisions and strips. Masher increases the ability to finish inside layups over defenders. Aerial Wizard, ability to successfully complete alley-oops and putbacks. And then Bully, which is the final finishing core badge, like Giannis and LeBron, able to finish strong by bulldozing through traffic. I'm a big fan of that. One of the badges that they had and they removed was Hook Specialist, for a good reason. Like I just said, people do not do post hooks. For the shooting aspect, the core badges are Agent 3, Midi Magician, Amped, Claymore, Comeback Kid, Hand Down Man Down, Space Creator, and Limitless Range. So essentially, well, let's go through the badges first. Agent 3, the ability to hit difficult 3-point shots off the dribble. Midi Magician, improved ability to knock down mid-range jumpers off the bounce or out of the post like MJ. Amped, reduces the shooting attribute penalties when fatigued and when moving excessively prior to shooting. Claymore, increases a spot-up shooter's ability to knock down catch and shoot jumpers the longer they remain stationary prior to shooting. Comeback Kid, improved ability to shoot perimeter jumpers when trailing in a game. That's probably the badge I'm gonna put on. Hands Down Man Down, makes an outside shooter even deadlier if opponent fails to get a hand in the face, which is good. Space Creator, actually hold up, back to Hand Down Man Down. That goes more towards the new shooting mechanic and how the shot contest system works. Basically, it checks to see the contest from when you press X to when you release the ball. So basically, if somebody's shooting and you're not near to contest it, don't try to contest it, because then the Hand Down Man Down badge will activate because you came up to contest a shot during the animation, which is a good addition. Space Creator, formerly a playmaking badge, it now boosts the ability to hit step back jumpers and hop shots, and also will cause defenders to stumble more often, which is good. I don't know why that was in a playmaking zone, to be honest with you. I always thought Space Creator should have been a shooting badge, if I'm being honest with you. Limitless Range, an old favorite, returns, making shooters more effective with any shot attempt from deep 3 range. I don't know why they took Limitless Range out the game and replaced it with deep 3s. It never makes sense to me. Limitless Range is a classic badge. That's a core badge. You always keep that in a game. Limitless Range is like posterizer. You don't get rid of that. Like, why would you ever? Come on, don't touch it. Leave it the way it is. And the badges that they removed were Chef, Hot Zone Hunter, Lucky 7, Mismatch Expert, which they moved to Playmaking, Set Shooter, Sniper, and Limitless Spot Up. Now, I'm glad they got rid of Chef. I'm glad they got rid of Set Shooter, Sniper, and Limitless Spot Up. I didn't like those badges. I'm not happy about Lucky 7 and Hot Zone Hunter. I'm actually upset about that, because Lucky 7 was a gold badge that nobody but me used. Like, it was like people sleep on how good Lucky 7 is. It was so OP, and like people just never touched it, sadly. And Hot Zone Hunter is very effective as a badge, but it's more tertiary than it is anything like solid or like primary. So I'm less mad about that. Now to the playmaking section. Killer Combos, Clamp Breaker, Vice Grip, and Mismatch Expert. Killer Combos improves a dribbler's effectiveness with size up dribble moves, basically a combination of last year's Quick Chain and Tight Handles badge, all combined into one. Good. Those badges did not need to be separate. I feel like they both did similar things, and you had to have both of them to get one overall effect. So combine those is a good addition. Clamp Breaker helps ball handlers win more one-on-one body bump confrontations to counter to clamps. Vice Grip improves ball security immediately after securing a rebound, catch, or picking up the ball. Great badge for bigs. Really great badge for big. That's my biggest pet peeve as a big, is that you get no rebound protection. Because something that would happen to me frequently is like, after I get the rebound, immediately I have like 30 people trying to steal the ball from me, and it would work the majority of the time. So like, as a big, I got in the habit of catching the ball, immediately icon passing it down the court, because my 2 guards or whatever would be down the court already by the time I catch it. So now this helps. Like, as a big, I feel like we should get essentially spawn immunity for like a second or 2 after we catch the ball, so that we can actually do something with it. I'm the bait that likes to bring the ball down. Mismatch Expert, formerly shooting badge. This badge now helps smaller guards break down taller defenders with mismatch 1-on-1. Does the same thing. Now the badges, the badges that they removed are Bullet Passer. I'm not too mad about that, because then that just means that everybody can pass based on your. I remember Mike Wing tweeting that actually. They removed bullet passer, but that means that everybody's passing speed is dependent on what your pass accuracy is. So pass accuracy now plays a role on how fast you pass the ball. Downhill, which I'm sad about because as a big, I use the badge heavily to get down court after I get a rebound. I'm sad to see it go. Glue hands and stop and go. Glue hands was effective, it was useful, but I feel like it created a problem that didn't exist before. So I'm happy to see that go. And stop and go, nobody really used that. It felt like stop and go was a badge that was unnecessary because it just boosted a natural motion in a sense. And it wasn't that effective to begin with. Because it just boosted animation in a sense. Now for the defensive / rebounding badges. Anchor, Box Out Beast, Workhorse, Glove, and Challenger. Anchor is a crucial badge for last line of defense for bigs, improves ability to block and contest shots in the paint. Definitely gonna be having that badge on. Box Out Beast helps rebounders with box out battles on both offense and defense. Rebounding situations. Workhorse, the Pat Bev badge. Pat Bev? That's what we do. This badge boosts your ability to hustle down 50-50 balls and play hard-nosed defense without getting tired. That man get tired of hell. I don't know what you're talking about. You old as hell. Glove, named after legendary Gary Payton. Gary the Glove Payton, my guy. Right there. Helps you strip players as they gather for shots and poke the ball free from ball handlers. I might even put that on. Challenger improves the effectiveness of perimeter shot contests. And the badge that they removed was defensive leader, which overall I know nobody ever touched that badge unless you were playing comp pro-am. Yeah, that's the only feasible time somebody would use defensive leader. Other than that, nobody touched that badge. Now 2K also went through and decided to redesign how Team Takeover worked and how effective it was. So essentially, the way that Team Takeover works now, each player on the team has an equal portion that they're responsible for filling up or performing well on the court and being good teammates. Each player has filled up their portion of the meter. Once each player has filled up the portion of the meter, Team Takeover automatically fires off for the entire team. The new design makes a lot more sense and does a better job representing what it means to be hot as a team and take over the game as a unit. 100% claps up to 2K. This is the best change that they've made in like all these years, because Team Takeover should be a team effort. Because as a big, I get Team Takeover regularly, but it doesn't make sense because it's not a team effort. Like when you're playing my career, the way you get Team Takeover, essentially, nah, never mind. That's not a good example. Team Takeover was always asked, but the way it works now makes more sense. Now I could do the AI improvements, but I'm not gonna waste my time, and I'm not gonna waste your time on that, because 2K lies about that every year, bro. So this is the end of me reading over the Courtside report. Let me know if you enjoyed what I did here. Let me know if you enjoyed these type of videos, this type of content. I'll happily do more of these. Please leave a like, follow, subscribe. Follow my other socials. Hit me up on Twitch. Hit me up on TikTok. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Started with that NASA, it's gonna leave you to the space.